I never expected to see him again. But when my sister called me that day, I froze, and I didn't know what to do next. It was a quiet afternoon when my phone rang. Nothing unusual, just the sound of it buzzing on the table. I glanced at the screen. "Sis, Elena." But I almost didn't answer. Why would she be calling me right now? It's her wedding day. She should be busy, checking details, making sure everything was perfect. But something in the pit of my stomach told me I shouldn't ignore this call. I took a deep breath and answered. Before we continue, please hit the like button, subscribe to the channel, and turn on the notification bell for updates. The first words out of her mouth weren't, "Hello," or even, "Hi, how are you?" Instead, they hit me like a cold wave. "Don't move." Her voice trembled. Panic. What could be happening? Why would she say that? My chest tightened. "What's wrong?" I whispered into the phone, a sinking feeling taking over. Could it be the wedding? Did something go wrong? "Why?" I asked, my heart racing in the silence that followed her words. My eyes darted around the room, searching for something familiar, some sign that could help make sense of what was happening. Then she whispered it. "He's here. At my wedding. Not the hotel. He's here, Nancy." Those words should have made me angry. They should have made me worried about the day itself. But instead, they threw me back into a nightmare I thought I had long escaped. Him. I slowly looked up from my phone. And there he was, right in front of me, watching me. I could barely believe it. The man I never thought I'd lay eyes on again. The man who disappeared without a trace, leaving nothing but unanswered questions. The man who betrayed me, and all the while, I thought I had left him behind. But there he was, standing in front of me as though nothing had ever happened. And then he spoke. As I stood there, staring at him in disbelief, the flood of memories came rushing back. John, my ex-husband. The man who had left me all those years ago without so much as an apology. The man who walked out on me and our daughter, leaving us to pick up the pieces of our broken lives. I never expected to see him again, let alone at my sister's wedding. But there he was, standing before me like no time had passed, like I hadn't spent years trying to forget the pain he caused. I glanced around the room, trying to process what was happening. Was he here for me? Or was there something more? My mind went back to that day, the day everything fell apart. The day I learnt John wasn't the man I thought he was. He had always been charming, always able to make me believe in us, in the future we could build together. But when the truth came out, when I discovered the lies, everything shattered. I had been devastated, yes, but it was our daughter Olivia who suffered the most. She was just a little girl when John left, and I did my best to protect her from the truth. I told her he was gone because of work, that he had to leave, but deep down, I knew the real reason. He didn't want us anymore. I hadn't seen or heard from him in years. I had built my life without him. There was no need to bring him up. But now, in front of me, there he was, looking older, thinner, but somehow still the same. "John, what are you doing here?" The words felt strange on my lips, but I couldn't hold them back. He looked at me, his eyes filled with a strange mixture of guilt and desperation. I didn't want to come, Nancy," he said quietly. "But I had to. I owe you both an explanation." His words hit me like a slap to the face. An explanation? After all these years, now he wanted to explain himself. I couldn't decide if I was angry or confused. Before I could respond, I heard Elena's voice from behind me, strained and fearful. "Nancy, don't. He's not here for you. He's here for me." I turned, my heart dropping into my stomach. Elena, my younger sister, stood there, her face pale,
her eyes wide with a mixture of fear and confusion. She had always been the one to stand by me through everything, but now she looked like she didn't know who to trust. The tension in the room was palpable. What was going on? I stared at Elena, unsure how to process what she had just said. "He's not here for you. He's here for me." The words echoed in my head, mixing with the confusion and panic that were taking hold of me. Elena had always been my rock. She had been the one to help me raise Olivia after John left. She understood the pain I went through. We had always shared everything. Except this. She'd never told me there was something more between her and John. There had never been a hint of it. But the look in her eyes now told me everything. Something was wrong. Something was seriously wrong. I turned to John, still standing there, his face unreadable. What the hell was going on? I couldn't even begin to make sense of it. For a moment, I just stood there, staring at him, trying to figure out how to even react. The last time we had been in the same room together, it had been a confrontation, a fight, a betrayal. And now he was standing here in front of me, at my sister's wedding. "John, explain yourself," I demanded, my voice shaking slightly but firm. He glanced at Elena, who was still standing a few steps away, her arms wrapped tightly around herself. She looked like a child caught in a storm, desperate to find shelter. And then, just like that, the walls started to crack. His voice was barely a whisper. "I didn't come here for you, Nancy. I came for Elena. I owe her something. Something I should have told her years ago." My heart stopped. What? Owed her something? What could he possibly owe Elena? My mind raced, but I couldn't form the words. Elena's face went even paler, if that was possible. Her lips parted, but no words came out. "John, what the hell are you talking about?" I felt the heat rise in my chest, but I was too confused to be truly angry. Something in his eyes told me that this wasn't just some random mistake. This was planned. He had a reason for being here, for showing up at this wedding, and it wasn't just about the past. Elena's hands were trembling at her sides. She stepped closer to me, the words finally coming out in a whisper. "I've known for a while, Nancy. I've known what John did, what he kept from me." I could feel the room closing in. What? What had he kept from her? The pieces of this puzzle were slipping through my fingers, and I couldn't see the whole picture. Before I could ask another question, John took a step forward. "Elena," he said softly, "it's time you knew the truth." The room fell silent. I knew whatever he said next was going to change everything. I just didn't know how much. The air felt thick as I looked from John to Elena, my mind spinning. What truth? What could he possibly have been hiding for all these years? And why was it only now that it was coming out, in the middle of Elena's wedding? Elena stood there, her face pale, her lips trembling. She looked so small, so vulnerable. The strong woman I had always known now seemed lost in a sea of confusion, surrounded by secrets she didn't understand. I turned to John, my voice low but firm. "What truth, John? What have you been hiding from her?" He hesitated, his eyes darting between me and Elena. I could see the guilt in his expression, but also something else, something darker. Fear. Fear of the consequences of the truth he was about to reveal. "I never wanted to hurt her," John began, his voice shaky. "I never wanted any of this to happen, but I was trying to protect her. I didn't know how else to handle it. I couldn't tell you, Elena, because I thought it would break you." Elena took a step closer to him, her eyes wide with confusion. "What do you mean? What are you talking about?" John looked at her with a mixture of regret and something else, something that felt like pity. He took a deep breath before speaking again. I'm the reason your mother disappeared. I'm the reason she's been gone for all these years." The words hit me like a physical blow. My chest tightened, and I could feel my pulse racing. I wanted to scream, to demand an explanation, but the room fell into a stunned silence. What? He was the reason? He was the one who had been keeping that secret all these years? My mind flashed back to everything I had gone through after Olivia left. The questions I had asked myself late at night. The nights I spent worrying, wondering where she was, why she had cut me off. I never believed it was truly my fault. But now John was telling us that he was the one responsible. Elena's face crumpled, her eyes filled with hurt and disbelief. No, that's not possible. What are you saying? John stepped forward, reaching for her, but Elena recoiled, backing away from him. I never wanted to hurt you, Elena. I thought I was protecting you from the truth. I thought I was protecting all of us. The room felt like it was spinning. I couldn't breathe. This revelation, this bombshell, had shattered everything. And now, there was only one thing left to ask. Why didn't you tell me, John? Why didn't you tell either of us? But before he could respond, Elena turned away from both of us. Her eyes were filled with tears, but I could see the rage building up inside her. The anger was palpable, and I knew she wouldn't let this go. None of us would. The silence between us was deafening. Elena stood at the edge of the room, her back turned to us, her shoulders shaking with emotion. My heart ached for her, but at the same time, I couldn't help but feel the crushing weight of what John had just revealed. The truth was out. The one thing I had spent years wondering about, hoping and praying for answers, was finally here. John's voice broke the silence. I didn't mean for it to happen this way, Nancy. I should have told you sooner. I could see the regret in his eyes, but it didn't make me feel better. How could it? He'd kept this secret for so long. How could he have let it drag on like this? He had known the whole time, and we were the last ones to find out. The man who once promised me forever was now nothing more than a stranger who had betrayed me, and his daughter, in the worst possible way. I walked over to Elena, placing my hand gently on her trembling shoulder. We need to talk, Elena. Let's get out of here. I led her to a quiet corner of the room, away from the chaos and prying eyes. The wedding was still happening in the background, but for us, time had stopped. Elena looked at me with those broken eyes, tears streaming down her face. I don't know how to feel anymore, Nancy. I thought I understood my past. I thought I knew who I was. But now, everything's different. Everything's been a lie. I took a deep breath, trying to steady my emotions. I had always been the strong one for her, but now it was my turn to be the rock. It's okay to feel lost, Elena. We'll figure this out together. I'm here for you, always. John eventually joined us, standing a few feet away, his eyes pleading for some form of forgiveness. But no words came from me. I couldn't find it in myself to forgive him, not yet, at least. He had taken too much from us, and I wasn't sure we could ever get it back. As the night wore on, Elena decided to call the wedding off. She needed time to process everything, to understand what this truth meant for her family, and for her future. I respected that decision, even though it broke my heart. It wasn't just the wedding she had lost. It was the family she thought she knew. John, now standing alone in the corner,
wasn't part of our future anymore. I could see that clearly. Elena had every right to be angry, to be hurt. She had a lifetime of questions to unravel, and I would be right beside her as she did. As we left the wedding, I held Eleanor's hand tightly in mine. We didn't have all the answers yet, but we had each other. And for the first time in a long while, I felt like we were going to be okay. Because no matter what had happened in the past, our future was still ours to shape. And we would do it together.